news tonight, NLC begins two-day warning strike over effects of subsidy removal. Edo Deputy Governor withdraws impeachment plot suit against Governor Obaseki after interventions. And New Nigeria People's Party expels Kwankwaso over alleged anti-party activities. Hello, welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. Despite appeals from the federal government, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC has today begun its two-day warning strike. In Abuja, the nation's capital, activities could best be described as skeletal as residents were seen going about their normal businesses. However, Labour-affiliated bodies remain true to the course. Our correspondent Emeka Mako files in this report from Abuja. The Nigeria Labour Congress had vowed to ground the economy in response to the severe economic hardships plaguing the nation in the aftermath of subsidy removal by the federal government. The move garnered widespread support from key stakeholders, including the banking sector, civil society organizations, and workers' unions, as they united to address the growing economic crisis in the country. Although the government defended its decision to remove fuel subsidies by saying that saving money and attracting investment is necessary, the defense still wouldn't sway the decision of the union. True to type on Tuesday, the warning strike took effect as activities around the commercial center could best be described as skeletal.
They say when you embark on a series of strikes, within a very short time, it loses its favor. And that's why you find, most Nigerians, even civil servants or public servants generally, are not really in tune with the entire, strike plan. The TUC, you can see, backed out. And there are affiliates of NLC who have also backed out. That's the problem. You can see it's not really effective.
In a meeting with the federal government, the Trade Union Congress TUC said it would allow conversation with the government to address grey areas. This is at variance with the stance of the Labour Congress, a situation which calls for the union to get its priorities right so as to achieve its set targets.
NLC should re-strategize. It shouldn't be all about strike. No, they should sit with the sister union, that TUC, and of course come up with a common plan, set up a common front, and then confront the government with what they want.
Nigerian Labour Congress don't keep to their words. And it's a pity, because if they are doing what they are supposed to do, Nigeria will not be like this. So Nigerian Labour Congress should keep to their words. I'm not saying they should crumble Nigeria, no, but the right thing must be done.
A cross-section of Nigerians believe that this whole mess can be addressed only if employment opportunities can be made available to the teeming youths.
Our leaders should just try and do the right thing, especially now that Tinubu is our president now. Whether we like it or not, he's our president, and I respect the fact that he's our president. He should just do something, try to create jobs for people.
The federal government, through the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, has assured that it would make the most of the two-week window given by the Trade Union Congress to address some of the grievances of the Congress. After a series of intervention by some eminent Edo citizens, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, has withdrawn the suit he filed at the Federal High Court to stop alleged plots by the State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, to remove him from office. The Deputy Governor says his decision to withdraw the suit came after a series of meetings involving himself, Obaseki, and well-meaning citizens of Edo and Nigerians, including party leaders, traditional rulers, and the Archbishop Benin Archdiocese of the Catholic Church. Shaibu had asked the court to restrain the governor, the Speaker of the State Assembly, and the Chief Judge from initiating impeachment proceedings or sanctioning any impeachment against him. However, in a statement issued on Tuesday, the Deputy Governor said due to intervention from well-meaning citizens of Edo, he has instructed his solicitors to withdraw the suit. Joining me on the news to speak on this further is legal expert and political affairs analyst, Mr. Liberos Oshoma. Thank you very much for your time. Now, from the rift between the governor and his deputy to Shaibu withdrawing the suit to stop his alleged impeachment, what do you make of the ongoing conflict in Edo State? Now, what does it say of the men piloting the affairs of the state?
Yeah, thank you. It is not in doubt that the rift between the governor and his deputy is about ambition. It's about who succeeds the current governor. And so that has always been the case. Once a deputy governor becomes ambitious, or once a politician becomes ambitious, his superior will cut him to size. So I think what should be ordinarily, once against the backdrop of all that is happening, deputy governors should be advised that once they become ambitious, the best thing would be for them to honorably resign from the cabinet and go chase their ambition, instead of allowing themselves to be humiliated by their superior. And look at how Obaseki has humiliated Philip Shaibu to the extent of eating the humble pie. Even the court that Philip had gone to, there is no way that the court was going to restrain assembly or the chief judge from performing their constitutional duties. What indirectly Philip Shaibu was seeking for was the fact that the court should stop any investigation if truly there are alleged infractions against him. I'm not saying they were, but we know that the court can't do that. And so that's why I think that instead of waiting to get to this level, anytime there are infractions, or anytime there is an ambition on the part of a deputy governor, the best thing would be to honorably resign. Philip Shaibu also should understand the kind of person that he's working with. He assisted Obaseki to throw away Oshomole, their erstwhile godfather, and then also assisted Obaseki to do without the State House of Assembly. And so, the moment he became ambitious, you certainly should expect that Obaseki will also use certain persons, including the instrumentality of his office, to throw him overboard, which is what he has successfully done, including relocating his office to a nearby bush. But this intervention really, for me, will be short-lived because the deed had been done, the servo had been fired, and it can only be short-lived so that it doesn't seem as if the stakeholders in the state didn't do anything. That's why this intervention is coming in. But otherwise, politicians being who they are, certainly this is not the end of it.
Now, somehow you have answered my second question. I was about to ask if you think that the deputy governor has finally given into pressure. Well, the legal expert and political affairs analyst, Liberos Oshoma, thank you very much for your insight. Moving on, the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, in collaboration with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has organized its 5th Fellowship Induction and Award. Speaking at the edition of the Reporters Leadership Program, the Executive Director and CEO of the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, Motunrayo Alaka, emphasized the need to promote and champion the eradication of gender inequity in the media space across the globe. There are more details in this next report.
Considering the media industry's growing ambivalence towards female leadership in newsroom and reporting, one significant issue for female journalists is gender discrimination. Women are notably underrepresented in editorial leadership positions in news coverage, and their opinions are mostly unheard in a male-dominated global news industry. However, the Female Reporters Leadership Program has recognized the need to alter this pattern by fostering an environment where journalists can excel and make a difference. 6 months ago, the trip began with screening and scrutinizing stages where 173 female journalists applied to be a part of the program, but only 12 made it to the finals and were inducted as fellows in the program. Motunrayo Alaka, Executive Director and CEO of WSCIG, charged the fellows to begin to lead the change that is required to improve the well-being of women in the society.
They had to do story and leadership projects, which for us, it's one story that mainstreams women. It mustn't be exactly about women, but it mainstreams women issues. Many of them always choose stories that are about women because there are not enough stories that are focused on women. And then they have to do a leadership project, which is the more difficult thing. They have to pool resources together.
On his part, the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Lagos, Michel Deline, charged the fellows to be intentional and resilient about investigative reporting, as this will enable them to fulfill their duties as fellows.
When I saw the video, I was also very impressed, because it's a learning process, but so is life, isn't it? I mean, you learn your whole life, you learn new things. And the fascinating thing is that at least me, and probably many people in this room, we learn also from listening and reading the media. So we learn from you. So you have that heavy responsibility of what you bring out there, what you print, what you say, what you put online, is a source of information for many people.
Participants in the program, which started 6 months ago, presented their investigative report and spoke about the many challenges they faced while finishing the courses and the project, such as their inability to obtain trustworthy information from public officials. Blessing Olagunjoye was chosen as the overall winner of the 5th edition of the program. A story project investigated the unethical practices and absence of substantial law on surrogacy and assisted reproductive technology in Nigeria. 2 other journalists, Sarah Ayeko and Folashade Ogunride, emerged as the first and second runner-up respectively.
I had a different perception or idea when I was joining, but due to mentorships, shared learnings, shared experiences from colleagues in there, it came out really well, and I'm grateful today. I didn't know that I could do a story like this, honestly. It was an undercover, and I went with the support of 2 other friends who were not journalists to do this, and it was really interesting. The major challenge, was the fact that the survivor didn't want to come out, didn't want to pursue the story any longer, and that further emphasize the culture of silence, which is what I tagged the story. And we're hoping to get justice for her. We're also hoping that other survivors who are going through this traumatic experience will come out and speak against their perpetrators. Took a look at Nigeria's justice system and the cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. And I realized that for cases such as the late Bamishe Ayinwola, that of Uwala, Omorua, and some other cases like that, you notice that the families of these victims are actually in court year in year out trying to get justice for their loved ones. And it's so sad that the average Nigerian thinks these cases should drag out in court. They really don't see it as a big deal when a murder case stays in court for many years.
Since its establishment in 2014, the Report Women program has trained 537 reporters from all 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, published 131 stories about women and girls, and carried out extensive media monitoring with women in forces, and can boast of 74 fellows. Tamilore Akinkwole, TV360 Nigeria.
A faction of the New Nigeria People's Party under the leadership of Major Agbo has expelled the presidential candidate of the party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, over his alleged anti-party activities and misappropriation of party campaign funds. Kwankwaso's expulsion was announced in a statement released in Abuja on Tuesday by the NNPP Factional National Publicity Secretary Abdul Salam Abdul Razak. The development comes barely 3 days after the factional leaders vowed to probe the former Kano governor and some of his loyalists over alleged misappropriation of over 1 billion naira generated from the sale of nomination forms. Abdul Razak affirmed that the decision to expel Kwankwaso with immediate effect was taken after he failed to appear before the disciplinary panel to defend himself over the allegations of gross anti-party activities and mismanagement of party campaign funds within 5 days. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the disposal of public property by some government agencies between 2010 and 2022 with a view to unraveling the extent of illegal auctioning of public property and non-remittance of revenue realized into the consolidated revenue of the Federation has commenced hearing in Abuja. Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Professor Julius Ihobere, says the committee will ensure that government assets and properties disposed follow all known global best practices and evaluation methods.
Let me list those that have ignored, refused to comply, or blatantly disregarded our invitation. Nigeria Ports Authority, Nigeria Maritime Authority and Safety Agency, Nigeria Railway Corporation, Nigeria Customs Service. Those ones are Ogun River Basin, Anambra Imo River Basin, Niger Delta Development Authority. Those ones have completely ignored our invitation, and we know precisely what to do as a house. I want to also use this to summon here the Ministry of Water Resources. The clerk will do a letter to them, since they were fully responsible for this asset disposal in the River Basin Authority.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, India's parliament considers renaming the country Bharat. Details of the story and more when we return.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
The new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. A recap of our top stories tonight. Despite appeals from the federal government, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has today begun its 2-day warning strike. This industrial action comes days after the declaration by the NLC President Joe Ajaero. The Labour Union is accusing the federal government of abandoning the negotiations and failing to implement some of the resolutions from previous meetings with the government. We also told you that after a series of interventions by some eminent Edo citizens, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, has withdrawn the suit he filed at the Federal High Court to stop alleged plots by the State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, to remove him from office. The Deputy Governor says his decision to withdraw the suit came after a series of meetings involving himself, Obaseki, and well-meaning citizens of Edo and Nigerians, including party leaders, traditional rulers, and the Archbishop Benin Archdiocese of the Catholic Church. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, on Facebook. We're at TV360 Online. Welcome back. Mary Kanu has joined us with business news. What's the latest, Mary?
Many thanks to Ms. Sola. Welcome to Business News. History has been made in Lagos as the Blue Line rail system has finally commenced commercial operations. Governor of the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who joined the inaugural train ride from Marina to Mile 2, commended the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, and all the stakeholders for the completion of the project. Our correspondent, Senior Kafo, has more details in this next report.
40 years after it was first conceived in 1983, the Lagos State government has commenced commercial operation of the Blue Line Rail mass transit constructed by China's Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. Arriving at the Marina train station for the inaugural trip on Monday, September 4, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu led other officials of the state government as the first passengers on the Blue Line Rail from the takeoff point at Marina to Mile 2. After the first ride, Governor Sanwo-Olu, while addressing his co-passengers, attributed the success of the Blue Rail project to President Bola Tinubu's Lagos Master Plan. The governor encouraged residents to utilize the train service for ease of movement.
The red line currently, it's about 96%. And if it doesn't get to 100%, we won't commission it. But we are certain that before the end of the year, we will also commission the red line. What you will see to begin to start is by the end of this month, I'll try to work it, by the end of this month or the first week in October, we will start commissioning the bridges.
The managing director of the Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, in charge of the rail service, gave details on the functions of the electrified powered Blue Rail track. She also cautioned Lagos residents to refrain from crossing the rail track to avoid electrocution.
Lagosians must take responsibility for their safety. Listen to what the platform attendants are telling you. Mind the gap as it is written all along. And also note that when you want to board, let the people on the trains alight first. Do not try and force your way into the train when the doors are shutting. Arrive on the platform in good time so that you are not causing an obstruction. Please, please, please do not cross the tracks. Electrified tracks, there is nothing that we can't say this, we can't emphasize this enough. Please do not cross the tracks. Everywhere you need to cross, pedestrian bridges have been provided.
Passengers who took a ride on the train commended the Lagos State government for the initiative, which they say will ease interstate movement for commuters.
Coming into a train like this, it works very well, it's very neat, it's a very modern train, it's not a second-hand train or anything. It's a very efficient service. We ran up the stairs to catch this train, and I'm glad it left on time and it came back on time.
Basically, it is amazing. The first thing I would say is this is an amazing project. This is awesome. This is so great. This is something laudable. You know, I really love it. I love the fact that within an hour, we are able to touch about 5 places.
According to Akiajo, the timetable is available at every station for passengers who will board trips using either Cowry or Lastra card for the ride. There will be 12 trips per day, stopping at each station for 90 seconds, and the service is expected to carry 1,755,000 passengers daily. Sydney Okafo, TV360 News, Lagos.
We'll take a break and be back with stock market reports. Stay with us. Nigeria's equities market has moved further north by 0.08%, while investors booked 31 billion naira gain. Investors showed further interest in consumer goods and industrial stocks amid profit-taking in banking and insurance stocks. Now, the market has achieved a significant milestone as its all-share index surged to an unprecedented level of 68,334.68 basis points. Now, the impressive performance was primarily attributed to the remarkable surge surge in industrial and basic material stocks as Better Glass and Multiverse topped the gainers counter. At the close of trading, over 557 million shares were traded in 9,818 deals. Now, analysts say they anticipate that investors will continue to selectively invest in fundamentally strong stocks. Well, the switch now to some select global stocks. Not a good performance by the FTSE and the Dow Jones, as both equities have been weighed down by a jump in crude oil prices, while Nikkei, Japan's Nikkei, is currently trading up at 0.30%. That's all on stock market report. Simisola, back to you now for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Mary, for the update. And India's parliament says it is considering renaming the country during the upcoming special session scheduled for September 18th to the 22nd. There have been growing clamor to rename the country as Bharat, an acronym for Bring Harmony, Amity, Reconciliation and Trust, and the country's government officials have also begun to gradually apply the changes. Official G20 dinner invitations from Indian President Draupadi Murmu were sent under the name President of Bharat instead of the usual President of India. Members of India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party have also come out in support of renaming the country Bharat. Well, Entertainment Report is up next on News Now.
Evicted Big Brother Naija All-Stars housemate Seyi Awolowo has again apologized for the misogynistic comment he made while in the Big Brother Naija house. A few weeks ago, while chatting with his male housemates, Seyi said he will train his sons to sexually assault women. This enraged many Nigerians who condemned his comment and called for his eviction. Seyi was later informed by Big Brother of his distasteful comment and he tendered an apology while in the house. In his interview with Ebuka Obi-Uchendu after leaving the house, Seyi broke down in tears as he tendered yet another apology to everyone for his comment. Renowned Nollywood actor Bolanle Ninalowo recently announced his divorce, has warned bloggers against posting fake news about him and his ex-wife, saying he owes no one any explanation for his personal decisions, especially the crash of his marriage. Bolanle, for the second time in his 16 years of marriage, announced a separation from his wife Bomi last week Friday. Since the announcement of his separation from his wife, there have been speculations as to reasons for their second separation. While some bloggers have reported it was due to infidelity, others alleged it was due to domestic violence. However, in a recent post, the actor claimed that bloggers are simply hypocrites in thirst for clout. And that's all on the entertainment segment of News Now. Omomi, Seriki, TV360, Nigeria.
In sports, Algerian referee Leilou Benbrahim will be in the center when Nigeria hosts Sao Tome and Principe in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier on Sunday. The encounter is slated for the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Oyo, Akwa Ibom. The Super Eagles have already secured a place at the 2023 AFCON, which will be hosted by Cote d'Ivoire. Also, Pesero's side needs a point from the game to finish as Group A winners ahead of Guinea-Bissau. Well, that's our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.